How's it going, everybody? This is Dave Meltzer. We're going to be here for the next 2 hours talking pro wrestling. We've got Brian Alvarez of Figure 4 Weekly here. We're going to have Jim Varsallone of Miami Herald up in about half an hour, talking about all of the current news. Brian, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good.
I read your article last night on the quake.
Oh, the horrible earthquake.
Well, it didn't sound so horrible in your article. It looked really horrible when I opened up my paper this morning.
Yeah, I know. In fact, I got a bunch of emails from people that were in different parts of the country, and they go, yeah, our local news was showing the earthquake footage, and I kept seeing the same building like 15 times. I thought, how about that?
Yeah. That's because it's the building they had.
Yes.
Well, what would you expect? They show your backyard and everything's fine?
I kind of thought that they might, but it didn't happen.
All right. What do you think of Thunder?
I thought the opening match was pretty good. I thought the main event was okay while it lasted, and like the rest of the show was just a show. It was like a bunch of matches that it's almost like when they used to have those matches where they go like a minute, we'd always complain, these things are too short, you know, these guys need to be given a little bit of time. Now it's like they're taking these guys that can't go 10 minutes and putting them out there for 10 minutes, and it just makes the show just drag on forever. Some of those matches they last forever.
There's something about it. I think part of it, you know, we've talked about this for a long time, and it is going to change at some point. And that's the taping of the Nitro after the Thunder. Because, I mean, that building was so empty. And, you know, once you had that empty building and the crowd's already been dead from the Nitro, and they weren't that live during Nitro anyway. And it was like I had it on, and it was like just didn't sink in.
Yeah.
What can I say? I mean, I watched just about the whole show, and it just didn't sink in.
I mean, Sean Stasiak and Johnny the Bull are out there, and I remember
that really didn't sink in.
The taping report, and your report here said to be boring, and I'm sitting here watching it. About 2 minutes in, it's like, you know, this ain't that bad, and then it seemed like 45 minutes later, this match was still going on, and I thought, when the hell is this thing going to end?
Yeah. What was it? I'm trying to remember what else was on.
Hey, did Canyon do that interview with the Broom? Because I didn't see it.
I missed it too because I did something else. I don't know.
I don't think it was on there.
I was told that was like one of the best things on the show. I mean, as far as like
something right there.
You know, somebody did the Canyon interview with the Broom. Because what was I doing? I came down. I think I must have gone up and written something and came down, and Scott Steiner was wrestling Booker T.
Yeah, there was right before, I don't know if it was right before Rick Steiner and Vito or right before Booker T and Scott Steiner, but they did a really long video package for Ernest Miller and Canyon. And it was it was just a video package. I mean, I fast forwarded.
When they started the video package on Ernest Miller, I went upstairs.
Okay, I don't think they aired it. Someone can call in, but
just let us know. Just let us know. Let's see. What else do we have here? I guess Dick Butkus is going to replace Jerry Lawler on the XFL broadcast on Saturday. Although that was like a pretty minor role anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to replace him as far as WWF goes. I don't think they've made the decision yet.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Bobby Heenan and Larry Zbyszko, as of a few hours ago, neither had been called. I don't know what the chances are that they will be called. I just know that neither had been. Let's see, what else?
Maybe they're just going to try and work it out with Lawler first before they make any calls.
They haven't done that.
No attempts whatsoever?
Well, Jim Ross and Lawler talked last night, but it was very brief, and there was no attempt to work it out. It was just kind of like, geez, you know, kind of too bad it ended like this. You know what I mean? Because they are actually friends. You know, I mean, they've been doing the broadcast together for years, and Lawler was actually very instrumental in getting Ross back after one of those firings.
Yeah.
Getting him back, you know, he kind of like told Vince, you know, like, after, I don't even know who was doing the announcing, but somebody was doing the announcing and he did something all wrong. And Lawler said to Vince, you know who can do that right? JR. And Vince goes, yeah, you're right, he could. And that was one of the reasons he got back on TV.
You know what I thought was interesting about the whole...
Probably Michael Cole, huh?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I thought was interesting about the whole Jerry Lawler thing was about, when we usually do the polls on the website, we usually average about 1,500 votes. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. And I remember a couple weeks ago I did the one about guess Big Show's weight. And that thing was up there on the site for probably 5 days because I didn't do a new poll. And it got like 3,000 votes, and I thought, wow, this is the biggest ever. And yesterday I put up the poll about what do you think about Lawler's departure from the WWF? 3,500 votes. Just killed every poll we've ever done. So
well, it's a hot story. Well, that's why I didn't do it. That's why I didn't do it on the Yada. But no. As far as Vince and Lawler, they have not talked. I'm trying to think what else there is. Lawler actually did a commentary on KingLawler.com. It's actually pretty interesting. It's blow by blow, and as best I can tell from talking to several other people, everything is pretty much exact. Now, I hadn't heard all of those stories. I'd heard probably 75% of them. But of the 75% that I heard, they were exactly like almost word for word how he described them. So the credibility of it's pretty high.
I thought the interesting thing about that story was he's talking about sitting down in the office with Vince, him and Stacey.
Oh, that stuff, huh?
And he's like, if you had a problem with her, why didn't you tell her about this first? And Vince is just like, well, maybe I should have. I didn't. It was like, he didn't even care. He came off so heartless, like, well, we didn't tell her, we probably should have, but it's over.
That meeting, by the way, took about a little bit less time than it took for you to read that passage about the meeting. Was how long? I mean, it was like a split second. But the thing that I thought was just hilarious, okay, was that Lawler goes to Ross, and of course Ross goes, it was Vince's decision, and then he goes to Vince, and Vince goes, wasn't that a talent relations decision, which of course made a Ross decision.
Exactly.
I thought that was very typical.
Classic Vince, too. Reaching out to shake the hand. Jerry, I want to thank you for everything you've done for this company. Bye.
No, bye. That's how he is.
I know. Every time you hear about someone get fired by Vince, same story. Thank you very much for everything you've done.
Except for Bret Hart, but Bret Hart actually didn't get fired.
And Kevin Kelly.
Kevin Kelly? No, they didn't shake hands. No.
They shook.
Not just so people aren't confused. He meant Kevin Wackles, or who wrestled his nails, and not Kevin Kelly, who's on television right now. They shook. Yeah, he shook him. Shook him and started choking him.
Probably turned him upside down by his feet and shook him to get all the change out of his pockets.
Yeah, in a cartoon. Yeah. Got a message from Vince's office today. Actually, it's from Vince, although it wasn't directly from Vince. And it was basically about the Lawler thing, and it was like, you should know that Vince does not comment on people who are no longer working for this company.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, kind of funny. By the way, there was someone who had asked this yesterday, and I checked on it. SummerSlam is still in San Jose, just so everyone knows. I wasn't. I had always heard that, and then someone asked. They thought maybe it had changed, and it has not changed. I guess Rusty Tillman does not like this angle. Let me read this.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, I know. This was in the New York Star Ledger. He goes, they're trying to manufacture something, and I'm not going to do it. I've said all along, if it's like the WWF, people are not going to like it. Actually, I think that's the problem to begin with, is it wasn't enough like WWF. I'm not going to do it their way. That's not me. I don't want to turn around and have an insult contest on the field. My wife and children are watching. I'm not going to do it because I think it cheapens the game. Let's see, what else is there? There's something else. That's pretty much it on that. What other stuff do we got here? This is the poll for yesterday. By the way, why don't you tell everyone about the poll results for Lawler, and I'll read this.
Okay, it was, what do you think about Jerry Lawler's departure from the WWF? It's a terrible blow to the company, 46.2%. It will hurt the WWF a little bit, 37.4%.
So that's a pretty big percentage. That's like 8%.
It won't hurt at all, 9.7, and I'm glad he's gone 6.6. So, like 15%, didn't think it was going to mean anything, and the rest did. Yeah.
This is, what do you think of the decision to release the women in WCW? It was a good decision, 23%. They should have kept 2 or 3, 50%. They should have kept them all, 7%. And they should have dumped all of them but re-signed Tori Wilson, 20%.
That 7% was every girl that was fired in Vince Russo.
What do you think is the top candidate for match of the year starting in December? This is for today's poll question. A, Kawada and Fuchi against Iizuka and Nagata, which is actually the best one, but no one's seen it. B, the Hell in the Cell match. C, Benoit Jericho, which is the ladder match from the January pay-per-view from Rumble. D, Helmsley and Austin from last week. And then E, Kawada and Sasaki from the Tokyo Dome. I was thinking of putting Rock and Angle in there, but I thought about Rocket Angle and Kawada Sasaki, and I thought Kawada Sasaki was a slightly better match, so it's there. Let's see, what else? Yes. What else? The Superstars of Wrestling tour, scheduled for I think next week in Australia, has been postponed until June because Jim Hellwig has had a problem with his passport and he couldn't get to Australia before June. God.
What could that problem be?
He probably doesn't have one. I don't know.
I'm just thinking since he changed his name to Warrior or whatever.
Oh,
I can just see some goofball holdup like that. Like, how can your name be Warrior? I need a birth certificate.
Oh, boy. I don't know why any promoter would ever want to deal with Jim Hellwig. Especially now. He hasn't even been on TV. You know, when was the last time Jim Hellwig was on TV in something that actually meant something?
WrestleMania 6.
Okay. No. WrestleMania 12.
You think
so? He came back. Oh, my God. I was at WrestleMania 12. That's the one with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels' Iron Man match, right? It was the one in 1996.
Yeah, with him and Hunter.
With him and Hunter in the 1 minute match, right. Okay, I was at that one, and live in that building, he was 10 times more over than Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart. I mean, it was scary going, I saw the line, because we got there hours early, and all these people are like, every poster was Ultimate Warrior. Everyone was screaming about the Warrior. They didn't care about Bret Hart. I flew down to see Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels do a 60-minute match, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody in line, they just wanted to see the Ultimate Warrior. It was, scary, So he meant something then, and I think he meant something for about a month after that. By the time, he was gone. When he left, oh, God. He was so horrible when he was there, but he did mean a little bit.
When did he feud with Papa Shango? When was that?
Oh, God, that's like 91.
Okay.
Right? No, 92. That's 92 because that was when the business fell apart. Ultimate Warrior Papa Shango feud. Ultimate Warrior Papa Shango feud coincided with the aftermath of Hulk Hogan leaving and the steroid problems and all that. That was like late 92, after WrestleMania 92, and that's when the whole thing just fell off. Like the earth is flat and they walked one step too far and they went straight down for about 3 years.
When Papa Shango put that voodoo curse on the Warrior and he threw up green slime, I said, that's money.
No, you didn't.
You're right. I said, that's the
You know what I thought was hilarious?
Seen.
Was when in Roller Jam they did that exact same angle, and I was thinking this was like the angle that killed the WWF for years. Not that it did it all by itself. It was there were many things that did, but it was certainly one of them that didn't help the WWF at all. I'm going you know what's really bad? Actually, it's one of my pet peeves. When it comes to wrestling, everyone copies everyone, okay? So that's cool. But if someone has a really terrible idea, everyone's going to copy it just because it's been done.
Yeah.
They don't
without even looking to see what actually resulted after this angle.
Right. It's like XPW. You know what they did in the main event last week, right? The weekend, Saturday night?
Well, was that a Vic Grimes and
I don't remember who was in it but they did the one finger touch Hogan Nash.
Oh yeah, that's right.
With the title change, and I'm thinking okay, let's see now. It hasn't been that long since that happened, and we all know. Boy, that just drew so much heat. It's like I'm thinking the same thing that Nash and Hogan. Oh, think of all the heat. Nash is going to lay down, and I'm going to get the world title. There's so much heat, and it's why don't you look at what happened to that company? From that point forward, not that was again, the green slime, that was not the only reason, but it didn't help.
Yeah.
It was not a positive. So let's copy it. Let's all go out there and copy WCW angles. That's just great. Anyway.
It'll always happen.
Yeah, I know. Any other news to get to?
I don't think so.
Okay. Let's see. As far as his temporary commentary substitute, what about Edge? Actually, you know who I would like? It's Christian. I think
Rob Bartlett.
People suggested that one. He was horrible.
Don't even ask why I thought of that name today. It just popped into my mind.
He was one of the original announcers for the original Monday Night Raw. They brought in a stand-up comic with the idea that he was going to be really funny, but he wasn't.
Kind of like Monday Night Football.
Yeah, very much like Monday Night Football. They were ahead of their times. But you don't watch Monday Night Football.
In a bad way.
Yeah. Let's see, this is from Joe. Says, no matter who the WF puts in place of Jerry Lawler as the color commentator, it's going to be a step down. Taz and Michael Cole would be okay for Raw and SmackDown, but what about WrestleMania? Do you think that announcing team can do WrestleMania? or will be Jim Ross and Vince McMahon. See, the problem with Vince McMahon is he's so much of a character, I don't think that he can go out there for 3 hours anymore, or 4 hours. Because he'd have to be in character, and it wouldn't be right. Plus, Vince really should be backstage. You know, it really is better for Vince to be backstage than to be doing the announcing. I mean, I guess if he has to.
I mean, it's kind of like this past Monday when they did Six-Man. I was so amused by Ric Flair. But if he'd done that for 2 hours, I'd have gone totally crazy.
I thought Ric Flair carried the first half of that Six-Man. I mean, the second half was actually a good match. The first half I was going like, you know, I think maybe it was because Cat was in a lot or something. I was going like, this isn't very good at all. Mm-hmm. But Ric Flair was making it entertaining. This was from Ryan Briggs, who goes, I was listening to an archive of when Vince Russo was on the show in December of 1999. Nothing much of note except the topic landed on Steve Regal, and Vince Russo said Steve Regal's work was good, but he was boring. I just found that funny. Yeah, I would think that if you listen to those interviews, you'd find many things funny. Let's see. More suggestions. Missy Hyatt. No way. Rusty Tillman. Yeah, okay. Trish Stratus. Oh, God. Can you imagine her talking for 2 hours? Oh, boy.
For Stephanie.
Oh, boy. They could bring Shane back, but he was... I don't know. Let's see. Bruce Mitchell made the comment about two Southern guys in Vince's booth. I don't think so. Since when has Memphis been considered Northern? You know, that's actually true. Jerry Lawler is a Southern guy, but nobody thinks of him as Southern because he doesn't have the Southern accent really strong, like Ross would. This is from Josh Barnett. You know, Josh Barnett just had a hell of a fight Friday night. Let's see. He goes, Brian lives in Seattle. Why doesn't he come to the AMC and say hi? So he's telling you should come to AMC Pancration shows.
Actually, I went to one, but it was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah. You saw him fight, too.
Yeah, I saw him fight. He was in the main event.
Yeah.
I just don't know when those things are.
Well, Josh, tell us when they are.
Yes. Give us the upcoming dates, and I'll head out to one.
Okay. Let's see. This is Brian's Uncle Wayne. Do you actually have an Uncle Wayne?
Yes, I do.
Is his email address Chico's Uncle Wayne?
Yes. Chico's uncle.
Chico's uncle. Okay,
this is the real deal.
Wow. Well, ask him if he thought the Earthquake was better than his match with Pistol Pete Cruz.
I enjoy the Earthquake more, actually. Significantly more, now that I think about it.
What is the contract status of Jerry Lawler? Okay, I actually just talked to him about this because the story in the Torch is not untrue, but he did have a contract. What it is that because I was confused because I had talked with him yesterday, and he had mentioned something about when he got his release from his contract, and he was talking about his contract. And then I read the thing in the Torch that he didn't have a contract, or that he'd had a signed contract but never signed it. And I was going like...
Maybe just put 1H.
So I was... Oh, God. So I was like going like... but the story was so detailed, and like, he has the contract, hasn't signed it, and he goes, that's pretty detailed. So anyway, I asked, and the deal is that he had a contract. They were writing up a new contract, and it was the new contract he hasn't signed, so that's true, but the old contract that is still in effect and hasn't run out. So he is under contract, but so that's the story.
Do you know till when?
What?
Do you know till when?
It doesn't matter because he said that Vince is going to give him a release anyway.
Okay.
So he told me it was a moot point as far as when it runs out because he's expecting to get his release any day now. Let's see. It's from Stephen Cole. It goes, you guys always talk about WF and WCW making up outrageous numbers on attendances like 1 million people at Road Wild. What about IATA claiming that they are celebrating 35 years on the net? Tell me that's not a bogus number. That is meant for comedy. Obviously. That hasn't been around for 35. It's meant to make you laugh. Unlike that 1 million where they were trying to sell as a real number.
Remember that bash at the beach where they said there was like 500,000 people or something?
And they said 100,000. Didn't they say 100,000? Didn't they say 100,000?
Something ridiculous.
I think there was probably about 10,000 there.
I was saying there's not even 500,000 people in this whole county, much less here on the beach.
Yeah, there weren't 100,000 people on that whole beach, and let alone watching wrestling that day. And then they would show the overhead. You know what's so bad is they would show the overheads, at Road Wild and at Bash at the Beach, And you can see, you can pretty much by the overhead kind of have an idea how many people are there. Or at least like 250,000 aren't there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or 100,000. It's like 100,000 people. Oh, God.
Yeah, you know what else was stupid was, I couldn't even believe they did this on the pay-per-view Sunday. They got this barbed wire board or whatever, and they zoom in for a close-up, and I go, that's not barbed wire. That's plastic. Why the hell would they zoom in on that?
I don't know. In your opinion, this is a loaded question, who was the greatest WWF wrestler of all time? I guess it means, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Greatest? Does that mean strictly WWF? Does that mean was in the WWF for one day? Real wrestler? What does that mean? Ric Flair was there.
Box office draw? Well, for a career, I'd say Ric Flair for a career, but not for his WWF career. Although he was pretty good during that period. The most outstanding on his best days would probably be Shawn Michaels and Randy Savage. But Shawn was more consistent than Savage. But, I saw Randy Savage do 4-star matches with the Ultimate Warrior, and that is a task.
Yes,
and that's
an
amazing task. I saw Shawn Michaels do a 2.5-star match once with King Kong Bundy, which was almost as impressive. But I don't know. What else? Ricky Steamboat was tremendous.
Yeah.
Bret Hart. If you're looking for, pure, Dynamite Kid, I guess, in some ways for being ahead of his time. I don't know. Let's see. Just what do you think the chances are of Bobby Heenan? He hasn't been called. That's all I could say. The name has been mentioned. If Vince wants him, it's Vince's decision. I can't read his mind. I tried, but it didn't work. Because when I tried to read his mind, I kept thinking, why do you get rid of Lawler? It makes no sense. Let's see. Yesterday, what do you got? William Regal. Hey, he's funny as hell.
He'd be good.
Yeah, maybe.
I would hate to see him wasted with that, though.
Yeah. How much paper do you go through each day? I don't know, but I go through those reams of 500. I think I go through one of those, seems like about every 2 days.
For like the faxes?
Yeah, for the faxes and everything, yeah. Between faxes and printing out, and also printing out stuff too.
Yeah.
Is there any truth to the rumor that on Raw, Vince will show up in a Las Vegas Outlaws jersey with a name on the back, "He canceled me"? I like that one. Let's see. It seems so bad in WCW where on Thunder the two top faces, Booker T and DDP, run out of the ring when they see 5 crummy heels run in. If the WWF had the RTC or a bunch of crappy heels in to attack Austin the Rock, they would give them stunners and rock bottoms like crazy. And they wonder why their faces don't get over. Yeah, it's true. The Torch just reported that the Fusion talks with Time Warner have broken off without a deal. Is there any truth to that story? Wow. I may make a phone call during the commercial break on that one. I certainly have not heard that. Let's see. On tonight's SmackDown, does Michael Cole call the action and Jim Ross do color or vice versa? I don't know for sure. I think Michael Cole calls the action and Ross does the color, though. Pretty sure. Yesterday you talked about a goalkeeper blading in a match. Actually, people thought he bladed at first, but it came out that he used tomato sauce. Yeah, okay. It was the Chilean goalkeeper, and he ended up getting his country banned from competition for 7 years. I was just thinking it would have been funny if he had used chili sauce. Yeah, that's pretty clever.
Actually, I don't even think it was even a blade. It was just something sharp. I guess it's considered blading.
Let's see. That's right, because it wasn't a blade.
Yeah.
Let's see. Can we attribute some of the King's departure to Vince's divided attention with the XFL backlash? He's really had little time to pay attention to the WWF. Lawler's retelling of the situation, work, shoot, little of both. I would tell you that Lawler's story is, as best I can tell, is totally a shoot. I mean, there were no inconsistencies in Lawler's story of the stories that I'd heard from several other people about what happened and his story. So I think that it's pretty darn real. And it appears Vince was making snap decisions because he didn't have time to think things over. Then again, he would have known what would have happened if he fired the King's wife. His attentions were that divided. It's no wonder the booking of the WF is so sketchy. Who knows? Maybe Vince wanted it this way. I don't know why. Let's see. On Raw, JR did mention Austin and Helmsley during the first segment. and also that Helmsley won the match, but they didn't push it any further because they didn't want to take the attention away from the Rock Austin segment, which is the focus of the show. And please tell Brian his newsletter rules. It rules. Helmsley was supposed to be on SmackDown and do a run-in in the match that's the main event tonight, which is Austin and Angle. And for whatever reason, he didn't do it. And there's no heat over it. It was just like that was what was written, and as it was, it was changed. So that's. Let's see, with Lawler gone, what about Joey Styles? Don't know. What about Brian Alvarez?
No.
He's funny, he knows the business, and he's a good talker. Yeah. We can tell some stories.
I'd get way too mad at Michael Cole.
You probably. I know, because I'd be just watching him.
I know, I'd be ready to kill him by about halfway through the show.
We got Jim Varsallone of the Miami Herald up. Jim, how you doing today?
Hey, good. How you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good. We're just
going over who will take the spot on WWF TV.
Right, of Jerry Lawler. Do you know?
I would say, you know what? I don't know, but I was thinking they could probably get someone like Dennis Miller to do the thing and then just kill the whole ratings altogether. I really don't know.
What about Jesse? Wait, no one's talking about Jesse.
Oh,
he can't go on a Monday, right?
How controversial would that be if they got Jesse to do it, especially with all the stuff he's doing and how all these high-up political figures who are so jealous of him want to just say, no, you can't do anything that you want to do in your own free time. That would be fun. That would be some good stories there, too.
Jesse?
What I'm worried about is it'll be a name that we've not mentioned, like Jonathan Coachman.
No.
He's not ready.
No.
Hugely depressing.
No. They need, come on, look what Lawler brings to the table.
It'll be Taz, I think.
See, Taz is the one that, right, you see when Lawler is off the camera, when he has to do his match or whatever, they brought Taz in, so, and I guess they all like Taz's work from Sunday Night Heat, so it seems like he would be the next one that they're gonna plug in that spot.
Yeah, it's just too much of a drop-off, though.
But do you think that's a done deal with Lawler?
You mean being gone?
Yeah.
Nothing's 100%. I mean, Vince, but the problem is Vince is not really good at calling somebody up and going, Jerry, I made a hasty decision. I'm under a lot of pressure. Please come back.
Yeah.
If Vince made that call right now, I would think Lawler would come back.
Sure.
As well. But Vince has to make that call, and Lawler is not someone, Lawler's not going to call Vince up this week and go, Vince, it's okay, you fired my wife. I changed my mind. I want to come back. It may happen it may happen down the road, but I don't think either of them is going to make that call. Certainly not anytime soon.
All the tempers are high enough right now that neither one's going to budge, and basically bottom line is the fans are the ones that get killed in the whole situation.
Well,
though, I think if Vince called and said, look, Jerry, I'm sorry, I really want you back, but we can't take Stacy back, I don't think Lawler would go back.
Really?
Not right now.
Okay. All right.
In a couple of months, you might. Because depending on the situation. It all depends on the situation. But you wait a couple of months, he's going to be on WCW TV. If they wait long enough. I can't imagine Eric not making that deal.
No, Eric does that deal. That's one of the first things he gets done. If Lawler's not going to go back to
if they get anything done.
Shoot. That's true. Yeah. But the thing is, and that's exactly one of the, there's many problems with WCW, but that's one of the problems with WCW. You got to get somebody on there that could deliver the show, that could talk, that could, add some humor to the thing. And Lawler would be one of the perfect fit to do that, especially if they want to change the company around. I just think if they don't work it out, if Vince doesn't work it out, this isn't like Bobby the Brain Heenan leaving WWF to WCW. This is someone that's still very hot as far as commentators go. And I think it would just be a very good, very strong addition to WCW, especially with the commentators they have now anyway.
Yeah, but Brian, think about this. Okay, you remember what you just said about Michael Cole?
Mm-hmm.
If you were sitting next to Michael Cole? Think about Jerry Lawler sitting next to Tony Schiavone for 4 hours a week. He's going to give him a pile driver.
Yeah, but see, that might be good.
Actually, you know what? These are bad names.
Actually,
you're right.
We don't even know what Bischoff's going to do with those commentators. He might get rid of Tony.
Yeah, he might. Well,
he might be like Lawler and Tenay. I don't know.
Who
could Lawler work with there?
Could be Lawler and it could be Lawler and Joey Styles.
Mm-hmm.
See, that would be interesting. See, I tune in to watch that. And, well, I should say this. I'll watch anyway. I'll tune in to listen to that.
That would be, actually, I like the chemistry of Lawler and Joey Styles. I think it'd be okay.
Yeah. Because, I mean, Styles worked well with Gertner.
Yeah.
And Gertner was, he had to do I guess they had to do the in-studio for the TV shows just to go over it a million times. Lawler doesn't need that.
Styles is pretty good as far as playing off a funny guy, too. He's a straight man.
Straight guy.
Whereas Schiavone, the weakness with him is, like when he would do the funny stuff, Schiavone never really played along.
He didn't get it.
He didn't get it. That's what I think. Really, I agree with that. I think he just didn't get it. I mean, but Schiavone's been there for so long. How this business, how loyal it is, but still, how loyal would they be to someone like Schiavone?
Well, in this business, I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, the old company, the TBS company, was going to say, he was just a fixture.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Bischoff, I don't think there's any fixtures with Bischoff. I think that, and he wants a new look and a new everything.
Sure. And he'll just clean house.
I remember I saw you on, was it Fox News Network with Bob Peters?
Was that the show? Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. The show where they had the controversy about the wrestling and with TV and if it's not good, if it's good, affecting our kids, that type of thing. It was one of those shows or whatever that they had on. It was like
watching that.
Pro, one side against, one side for, that type of thing.
Yeah.
It was a while ago. Yeah, they did something like that. It's just interesting to me that I love the fact that WWF does this RTC bit to sort of play off what the PTC has been doing and Brent Bozell and what they're doing and all.
I don't know if it's a good idea to make your enemies mad when your enemies are effective. If Bozell was ineffective, I guess, you know what I mean? I would think that it would be a lot better.
Well, it would.
A lot smarter.
But I'll tell you what, Bozell, this is what I heard anyway. Who knows what's true and what's not. But the thing is let's see, Bozell does a column. He has a syndicated column and, the people that actually are in charge of distributing that and all, they called up here asking, would you be interested in doing an interview with Bozell? Sure we would. And he's saying, well, we'll see what we can do here. We might want to set this up. This is the time Vince and them were suing him, or they put him in the long list of people that they wanted to get at. And he's like, Brent's really shaken about all this. He's really upset by all this. And I'm like, really? I said, this guy, he comes across like he could care less about anything. And then they're saying, no, he really is shook. He's really just shook. He doesn't know what to do. Doesn't know what's going on. To me, it didn't seem like he was shaken up about the whole thing. But that's what his people were claiming. Who knows? I think it was, too good.
No, nobody likes getting sued by Jerry McDevitt. It's just not anything. There is no positive, and it's like I probably have come close on a couple of occasions. And at the time I was kind of like, this is cool, you know what I mean? Let's just go wall to wall. You know what? That's
cool. Let me go head to head with the WWF legal team.
This is and I was thinking back and that was such a stupid attitude. You know what I mean? It's it's no fun and there's no upside to this at all. That's a stupid attitude. And he was kind of publicly trying to do that too, I don't care if they sue, and I'm just thinking believe me, you don't want to be sued, by Jerry McDevitt. He's like a pit bull terrier. I mean,
We've got a guy down here. He's a young guy, and he's a promoter, Bobby Rogers.
I know Bobby Rogers.
How many times? I mean, first there was the thing where...
the finger!
Bobby Rogers going to cut off his finger for a payoff.
There you go. How about selling his kidney on eBay?
And that's right. He was the kidney on eBay guy.
Yeah, it's big bad Bobby. Bobby's cool. I like Bobby. We talk with him. Why he does the show down here?
When that story first came out, we should have known it was like an independent wrestler.
I'll cut it out myself in a match.
So Bobby goes up against WWF several years ago. He has the WWF, which there was none at the time, but light heavyweight championship. Looked really good. He goes on, what show was it? One of these Jerry Springer type deal. Rolanda, that was the name of the show, as the WWF light heavyweight champion who was a bisexual crack addict. And they billed him as that. They didn't even do any checking. WWF was, they're sending McDivitt and his team, sending him letters. If you ever do this again, we're going after you. Better stop doing this. We don't want you to do this. And Bobby's like, hey, go ahead, sue me. What do I have to lose? Now, recently,
if you have no money, it's a lot easier.
Oh, yeah, exactly. How about this? But this now, round two, that was several years ago. Something about, I don't know all this technical stuff, but the domain names the domain names. Bobby bought, like, the domain name for The Rock, for The Undertaker, for Stone Cold. WWE sent him a letter, you better give these up, or we're going to sue you. Bobby's like, go ahead. He goes, look, I already got a list of what I want to do with these names on the website. So now Bobby's he's in the battle there. He's always doing something. Hey, they know him, I'll say that. WWF does know Bobby Rogers.
Yeah, they know him, but...
I know, but I guess Bobby's one that doesn't mind going up against McDivitt and his crew.
The deal's not dead with Fusion. Just checked this minute during commercial break. I don't know any more other than that story. I mean, there may be more to the story than I mean, it was just like, is the deal done? No, it's still on. So, just want to clear that up. We'll start with Lou in Florida. Lou, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey,
all right.
Hey, Jim. Just wanted to say hello. I'm a reader of the Miami Herald. Big fan of yours.
Hey, one of two.
I just wanted to ask you what your thoughts were of the South Florida independent wrestling scene, and if you could possibly foresee either WCW or WWF making one of our local promotions, be it FOW, FCW, a developmental deal in the future.
I don't know. We see I think the business, I'm not saying anything new, is on a little bit of a decline. If you look at the numbers, the ratings anyway, stuff like that right now. I don't know if there would be any interest in any of the groups picking up a feeder group like that right now. I believe both companies still have their feeder groups going. I think it would be great if they did. I know that what I find interesting in Florida, I don't know how it is in other states, that a lot of the talent down here, I'm glad the promoters don't lock them out, even though they don't really pay them that much money. I know some promoters get upset if, like, you're going to work for another promotion. And down here it's nice because you see some of the same talent on different shows, wrestling against different people and all. I think it's a very strong area. The one guy that comes to mind is Billy Fives, who's a great young talent down here. And whether they do a feeder program or not, I don't think so right now. Wish they would, but I think still the guys are going to get a look and a see. I mean, John Tenta, the Earthquake, I guess, opened his own school up, as so many do, or some do anyway, and he's up in the middle of the state, and they're supposed to have a big show on the 23rd of March. I was reading this today, actually talking a little bit with Prince Iaukea, who's coming down to South Florida for a show this Saturday, and he was saying that on the show, and I read this too, that they were going to have Reina and Mark Mero. Mark Mero was supposed to wrestle, and Typhoon, who's, I guess, one of Tenta's former partners when they did the natural disasters of WWF. But the big name was Scott Hall supposed to be on the show, competing. So it'll be interesting if everybody does show up. But I just think there's a lot of talent in Florida. There are a lot of wrestlers, former wrestlers, current wrestlers that live in Florida, and it's a good area down here. Whether or not they're going to be a feeder program, I don't think so. I wish it would happen, but I don't think so.
WCW actually got rid of Wildside.
Really?
Yeah. I can't figure that one out.
Wildside, they just did it a couple days ago.
Well, which player, A, B, or C, made this decision? Which was this something from Bischoff's group? Was this something from Kevin Sullivan's group?
I don't know. It may be they switched their affiliations with Dusty. Maybe.
Really?
Yeah. I just speculation. I don't know.
And that's wild. That is wild. But anyway.
Also, Jim, you mentioned Billy Fives. Any word on how he's been doing with his WWF matches? I know he's worked some dark matches.
He worked out right, you know that. He worked dark matches with WWF, did at least 3 when they came down here during their Florida trek. He was supposed to be competing in that big Super 8 tournament.
Yeah, he did.
That was like a big coup for him to get invited to that, and there've been a host of stars that have gotten their break, or at least got a big good look at that event, and he was one of the ones selected to do that. I think he's the number one talent as far as local talent in Florida to hopefully land in one of the big organizations.
2 quick things before I go. To Dave, you think now that Lawler has been, from last I've heard, is available, that there'd be any chance of seeing him doing any independent dates?
Oh, he wants to do independent dates. He wants to do autograph sessions, independents. He said that he's stunned. He didn't realize how much there is out there. I mean, his phone's been basically ringing off the hook ever since the word broke. So, yeah, he'll be doing independent dates and a lot of autograph signings.
I'll send you an email later, Dave, if you happen to have a contact number. That would be very interesting. Also, as a final note, it'd be really funny if Jim could tell the story. I don't know if you know, Dave. Jim's a former 6-man heavyweight champion.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Jim Varsallone Varsallone, former FOW World 640 Heavyweight Champion. Jim, look forward to seeing you next week on the 10th. Have a great show. Thanks, guys.
All right, Lou. Thanks, Lou. Yeah, that was wild. They did some gimmick where one of their they're at six-man tag champs, and they had this little 8-year-old kid as one of the tag champs. And what happened was the guy they were going against, all of the partners he would choose, he would always lose. So he said, "The heck with it. I'll just go it alone." And then they said, "No, you have to pick 2 people." So he goes he goes, "You know what? I don't want to pick any in the back. I'll pick 2 guys from the crowd." And there I am on my laptop, sitting in the back, doing my thing. And he's like, "How about you, newspaper boy? You think you're so smart? Why don't you get over here?" And I'm like, yeah, right. He's like, come on, be a man, be a man. I'm like, all right, what the heck? So I went over there, stood by ringside. He picked some other guy out of the crowd. We stood there. He wrestled the whole match. He ends up winning the title on a fluke. We win the belts, and then they retire the belts, thank God. So I didn't have to go through any tables, so that made it fun, too.
Yeah. Wow.
The FOW. You never know what's going to happen.
Let's go to Andrew in Virginia. Andrew, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
All right.
Much.
Just got a quick topic for you guys here. Thought it'd be a little fun. What each of you thought was the most embarrassing moment in professional wrestling? Something that's funny.
The one?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, like I was
Like when
thinking about it.
when the Shockmaster fell through the wall?
How about the gobbledygooker?
Oh, the gobbledygooker.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
What I'd have to say was the old Domino's ads with Leslie Nielsen in Search of the Undertaker at SummerSlam '94.
Actually, I thought those were kind of funny. So.
How about anytime you saw the ding dongs on TBS?
That was pretty bad. When Undertaker went through at that Providence Royal Rumble, when Undertaker went, like to heaven.
When he went to heaven?
Yeah.
Oh, when he was doing the Michael Jackson scene there?
Yeah.
How about when Giant fell off the building?
Oh,
that was
monster
good.
Trucks.
You know,
that
Brian
was horrible.
Knobs, he's still falling.
Cave, like 20 miles.
He was like 20 miles away, yes.
He not only fell off the building, he landed in a lake 20 miles away. He was able to come to the main event soaking wet.
Well, that's just the same as Austin dropping Triple H in the car and him coming back 2 weeks later without a scratch on him.
Well, the thing is, how about the net when Stephanie said, oh my God, and he only suffered some minor injuries.
Some minor injuries.
It was a miracle.
It'll be
How about that night when they embalmed Steve Austin? That was really bad.
Oh, and the cameraman was there.
Yeah.
Anytime when the Ultimate Warrior returned to WCW when the smoke, and then all of a sudden he appeared and disappeared. That was bad.
Wasn't there a story behind that where the Warrior puked under the ring or something? I heard.
Yeah. Kurt Hennig, yeah. Yeah, Kurt Hennig relieved himself under the ring, and I think Norton and then Warrior were underneath the ring, and it was really horrible to be them.
Another quick thing before I go, guys. Am I the only one who notices that The Rock is turning white?
Wow. I don't know about that one.
Has anybody...
What are you talking about, man?
Like Michael Jackson?
Yes. You take a look at the old tapes, and you see what dark complexion he has. And now I was watching that No Way Out.
I don't know. Maybe it was your TV set. He's always had a fair complexion.
He's the same color as Kurt Angle.
He's always had a fair complexion. I don't know.
Maybe he just had a tan. Maybe
he had a tan now. He doesn't have a tan now, and Angle does.
He's the busiest guy in sports entertainment. He doesn't have a lot of time to sit in the sun.
He doesn't have free time, and Kurt Angle's in that tanning bed all the time. So.
No, I don't think anyone beats the tan that Triple H had a couple months ago.
I remember Hogan in the early '80s, which is probably what he looks like he does now. One thing when you get older, you realize you really didn't want to have really good tan when you were younger.
You learn from your experience.
At least keep that towel over your face.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys.
All right.
You're very welcome. Let's go to Mike. Mike, what's going on?
Hey, guys. Great show.
Thank you.
Dave, Brian, Jim, you guys are doing an awesome job.
Thanks.
And I've never read your column, Jim, because I live out here in California, but I'd love to get a copy of it.
You know what? You can actually, if you go on the Miami Herald website.
Yeah.
And click on sports, and then there's a page on wrestling that I run, and I usually throw it on there. Or you can go to that, or you can do Varsallone.
Okay.
Their website usually runs it every week too. So if you want to check it out, thank you.
Yeah. Hey, I had a couple of thoughts about the whole. I know the Lawler story is kind of running the gambit of the topic today.
Big story.
But I had some. There
goes the XFL ratings.
Had a few ideas that haven't been mentioned yet. Randy Savage, possibly.
We talked about that. I think that'd be a bad idea.
Shawn Michaels.
Oh,
that's a real bad idea. We
He's
talked about
been
him
in
yesterday
before.
too.
Al
bad,
Snow.
though.
Maybe Kevin Nash. Who knows?
Oh God.
And what's up with that valet
Nash
that
was
came
kinda
in with
funny
tie and tie the other night? Wasn't she Taka's sister a few years ago?
The girl, I think,
Yeah.
wasn't that Taka's girlfriend? Taka's sister, no, really. I think Taka's sister was not that girl. Taka's sister was a lot younger than that.
Oh, okay.
She looked a little skinnier too, unless she
yeah,
decided
she was
to
a lot
put on a little weight.
I think that's Taka's girlfriend for real. From Japan, yeah. Yeah, because he was traveling with his girlfriend. And they already blew her off by, on the SmackDown show, she wasn't evil enough or something, but she's gone.
Oh, she's gone.
Well, they can't justify getting rid of Lawler's lady and then keeping her.
Exactly. That's what my next point was going to be. But also, as far as a few other things, the whole angle with Nash losing on the last WCW pay-per-view and losing his career and all that. Now, I know he wanted out of his WCW contract and all that. And do you know, was he released?
No, he's not released. And you know what? Kevin Nash is very clever. And you know, I'll say this now just to get it off my chest. When we say like Kevin Nash or Hogan or Helmsley are very smart, while it is there is a snide aspect to it, but it is not a knock. It is because they're smart. They're very smart when it comes to business. And Kevin Nash is very smart when it comes to business and very manipulative. I don't believe that, maybe now Kevin Nash really may want to go to WWF just because WCW is crumbling. But, all that time when Kevin Nash was talking about, like, I want to get out of here and all this, he would privately tell his friends, it's like he was working 100 days a year and making $1.6 million a year. And, he could go to the other place and work 200 days a year and make, half that. And so, he's not a dumb guy, but he would throw that out there and to scare people, I'm ready to jump. It was all leverage. Now, if he can't get this kind of a deal and stay with WCW, of course he would want to go to WCW. But this is all an angle, and he's, he's going to come back when they want to bring him back, however this angle plays out.
Most of these guys, people, I guess, know this behind the scenes or whatever. In business altogether, it doesn't matter if you're in wrestling or not. You're gonna go the best deal you're gonna get.
Yeah.
That's what happens a lot of times. So you're right about him being smart with leverage. So we'll see what happens.
On the video game note, I'm a huge fan of import wrestling games, there's a brand new one that just came out. It's called Fire Pro Wrestling for Dreamcast. The series has been very popular on some other platforms, and it's a really hot game. It's probably the most detailed wrestling game I've ever played. It's a 2D format. It's not the 3D format that they're all using these days. A little like WrestleFest, but it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Don't know if any of you guys play any of those games or not.
I don't. Sorry about that.
The Japanese got a corner of the market compared to the games we have up here. Thanks a lot, guys. You're doing great.
Thank you.
Okay, very well.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let's hit a couple of emails before we hit this break. Who was the top draw in the WWF during the 1990s? Steve Austin.
The top draw?
Top draw. Oh, without a doubt.
Shawn Michaels?
Oh, no. In the 90s, it has to be Steve Austin. No one's even
Steve
close.
Austin? Wow.
Yeah, no one's even close. Because who's the top five? Let me look at that. What is it? Top five?
Austin, Rock.
Undertaker?
Undertaker was never a huge draw, but he was around the whole 10 years. That's kind of a hard one. Austin by far. Nobody's close.
Would Michaels be in there or no?
Yeah, he'd probably be in the top five. Rock became a draw in 2000 or late 99. I think that I wouldn't put him in there. Probably Hogan. Because you had that middle period where nobody drew. Because their business was bad.
Yeah.
So
what about Brett?
Brett and Shawn are pretty close. I think they would probably both crack the top five. So you'd have Hogan, Brett, Shawn.
Would Warrior be in there or no?
Man, no, not really.
Where did Papa Shawn go?
No.
That was my next guess.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody else.
Macho Man or no?
Not by then.
Not by then.
Maybe the first year, like 90, 91.
But that would be it.
Warrior was still on top. Let's see, he left in 92.
What about Vince?
Was it 99? it was 98.
98.
Wow.
TV ratings draw, not box office draw, because Vince never went on the road.
Yeah, it's
TV
true.
ratings draw, absolutely. Anyway,
Wow.
I think we got a bunch. Okay, I was a big fan of Rick Rude, and I was wondering if you ever considered him a world champion. I never worried about semantics. I don't know.
What about Mick Foley?
Rick Rude, if David Arquette can be champion, why not?
Yeah. Mick Foley, I'd say probably may squeak in around number 5.
Yeah.
Just for the stuff at the end. Yeah. See, I mean, as far as Rick Rude, he held that WCW International title, which they called the world title, except it wasn't recognized because the NWA board wouldn't approve of the title change that WCW wanted. To me, it's like this. I don't know. I don't know if I consider him a world champ or not. I don't know. Can you explain the history of the WCW International title? It started as the NWA World title when they resurrected it after they dropped it for a while. They brought it back. Ric Flair was the champion, and he was supposed to lose it to Rick Rude. And the NWA board and WCW were having problems then, and it led to their final split. It was the Chono thing later. I'm trying to remember. This would have. God, I don't remember this anymore. I don't remember the whole history of this. Okay, someone's going to have the Wrestling Histories book in front of them, so look it up. Okay, because they did the NWA stopped recognizing the title when they had the fallout, and that was right before Flair was going to lose it to Rude. So when Rude won it, it became the World Championship Wrestling International World Heavyweight Championship, as opposed to the World Championship Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship. And then Rude had it, and then those titles ended up being unified when Hogan Flair beat Sting to unify the two belts, and then Hogan beat Flair right away, as usual. So that's kind of what happened there.
Huh.